So I made a video about regulating and taxing the Christian church, monitoring the Christian church. But when Vladimir Lenin came to power in 1917 in Russia, he implemented the Cheka, and later the GPUs, and later the NKVD. And what they did was they monitored the Christians, Jews, and Muslims. But I think we need to take that even further. And we need to monitor the Christians, Jews, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, and Sikhs. Especially the Hindus in Dallas, Texas, to make sure they don't take over the IT industry with unfair labor strategies like they do now. And we need to make sure the Christian, Jews, and Muslims don't use their political policies to influence national decisions. And we need to make sure that we get as far away from church or religious organizations funding political parties as we can. Right now, even though we need to monitor all the religions, we can see still that the Christian church and possibly the Jewish synagogue, as Bernie Sanders states, AIPAC. I criticize Bernie Sanders, but I'm going to go ahead and implement some of his philosophy here and say that the Jewish synagogues need to be monitored too, and we make sure they don't do anything to harm people with their Zionist political ideologies. But and then we make sure the Muslims don't try to implement Sharia law in Plano like they're trying to do. I think that we make sure Zohar Mamdani doesn't try to implement Sharia law in New York City either. And as far as, I'll post another video on the Soviet Union, NKVD, monitoring religious groups and making sure we have a separation between economic values and religion. I'm not an atheist, so I'm not promoting an atheist state like Vladimir Lenin did in 1917 Russian Soviet Union, or like Maoism is doing in China. But I'd rather see spiritual values and everything. But this is just coming from me. Other communists might disagree with me, and they might be for implementing an atheist state. I'm not really for that, but I don't believe in shutting down Christian churches like Stalin did. I think we should just regulate and tax them and make sure that we start first from going to capitalism, like Marx explained, from going into capitalism to socialism, where we tax all the religious institutions, where we tax the billionaires, where we implement free healthcare, where we implement free education, where we implement labor parties that get people employed, where we implement free housing, social security checks for everyone, public healthcare, free education, free transportation. We build the railroads, shuttles, metros, everything. We need to fix the roads, especially here in Dallas. We need to fix the roads. We need to hire a ton of construction workers to fix the roads in Dallas, and we need to fix the roads all throughout the U.S. So I think the first thing to do is to implement a tax not only on the billionaire class, but on each religious institution. And then after implementing this tax, we could go into monitoring them to make sure they don't try to politically change the values of the Labor Party.